What up, though, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up, though show. It's your boy, Dame D, and I am back with another one. What's up, y'all? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Freestyle Friday. We done made it to the end of the week, and we are back. So what's good, y'all? We're going to wait for a few people to jump in. We're going to wait for some of our guests to come in before we start up tonight's show. So I want to check my audio and make sure that you guys can hear me clearly. So we're going to go and do that first. So what's good? Hopefully everybody had a great week. It's Friday. Make sure my volume and everything can be heard. So give me 1 second, you guys. Make sure my volume and everything can be heard. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we can be heard. So what's good? What up though? Facebook. What up though? YouTube. What's up? Instagram. What's good? What's good? Hope, like I said, hopefully everybody had a great week. It's the weekend. It's Friday. We getting ready to start the weekend. So let's get it. It was a hot week, man. This was a very hot week. I want to give a shout out to, all my plant people who worked at Plant Life, to all my UAW workers. It was definitely a hot week this week. So hopefully everybody stayed cool and hydrated. Yep. So I got a few guests that's going to come in tonight that's going to join us on tonight's topics and conversation. We're going to be talking about this Carmelo Anthony situation, which we talked about that the other day, but I wanted to bring a few people in and discuss this conversation. So before I start talking about that, I'll wait for some of my guests to come in and then we'll start the conversation. So like I said, hopefully everybody is having a great Friday night. Yeah. So, but like I said, it definitely was a hot week, man. I don't know what the hell is in my eye. So you guys excuse me. But it definitely was a hot week. It was a long, sticky, muggy hot week. Today wasn't too bad. I think it was in the 70s. Maybe it got up to 80. So I couldn't complain about today, but I tell you, Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, scorcher. And Monday too, I believe. Yep. So what's going on, man? What's up with these San Antonio Spurs? Blew a 29-point lead. Couldn't believe it. But I said that they did not need that game. What I still think, I think San Antonio is going to win game 4. Game 4 in San Antonio, come back to no, not game 4, but game 5 back in San Antonio, come back, get game 6, and then go back and get game 7 at home. I'm not going to say it was a must win because they wasn't facing elimination. So a must win is when you're facing elimination, but New York is for real, man. I didn't think New York was going to be able to contest and handle the pressure, and just the bigness of San Antonio, man. But I was fooled. I was wrong. But in my opinion, man, the league has everything already set up, pre-played, for game 7. They just giving us a show, in my opinion. So like I said, New York is for real, but I still think San Antonio is going to come back, get that game tomorrow night, and come get a game in New York because they've won one game in New York. They have not won a game at home, so they're definitely going to get this game back at home, come back, get that game in New York, and close it out in San Antonio. Mark my word. Mark my word. You heard it here from the What Up Though show from your boy Dame D. So all you New York fans, come on over here. If you got some beef with me about that, I'm calling it now. You heard it first from the What Up Though show. San Antonio is going to pull it out, game 7. Because the lead is going to stretch it to a game 7. Let me make sure everything is focused. Let me know. Okay. Let me know how my audio and camera is. I mean, my audio and video. I know the video is good, but yeah, man, all you New York fans are going to be sick and upset. They're celebrating now. But in my opinion, they're celebrating too early. San Antonio is definitely a team that can come back from 3-1. They're, like I said, they play at home tomorrow. They can get back in it, not even it up, but make it close. It'll be 3-2 going back to New York. And that'll be game 6. And I think San Antonio is a good enough team to win game 6. They're a good enough team to win 3 games in a row. They just have to take it game by game. That's it. But don't don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong, man. New York is definitely a good team. San Antonio made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to give a lot of, a lot of, I'll put a lot of the pressure on the coach, man, for letting that 29-point lead vanish. In my opinion, he should have been calling plays where you knew you were going to at least get buckets. Put New York and what was so crazy, I believe that fourth quarter, San Antonio was in the penalty, and they did not take advantage of that. But it was just it was a poor coach call game. I mean, yeah, a poor game just as far as calling plays with the coach. It was New York coaching. New York did a great job at coaching. Getting those guys to be able to stay into the game and come back and win it. But I said it. I said they did not need to get that game. And they still can be in it, which they still are. If they can get this game tomorrow night, it'll be 3-2, and then they'll go back to New York. And they'll get that game in New York and bring it back to San Antonio to close it out. So everybody is partying. They already got the shirts and everything probably already made up in New York, but they're going to be disappointed. Mark my word. You heard it here from the What Up, though. Show your boy, Dame D. San Antonio will get back in this game tomorrow, and it's going to be a ball game. That game in New York is going to be crazy. And mark my word, they're going to be looking crazy after that loss, getting ready to go back to San Antonio. Yep. So like I said, you guys, I'm just waiting on my guest to come in before we start up tonight's show. So I'm just pre-gaming, and just waiting on everybody to come in. But no, man, San Antonio blew that game. Like I said, it was a poor coach calling during the end. He should have been calling plays. They were looking for too many threes. They were looking to run out the clock. They was not trying to get easy buckets. There's no way you shouldn't be posting Wemby up down low, in situations like that when you need a clutch basket. Post that big man up. He's too big for you not to be posting him up down low. Not calling plays where he's up top shooting threes. Like I said, the coach should be part of the blame for that loss. He allowed for his team to be up 29 points and allowed for New York to come back. So you have to put a lot of the blame on the coach, and the players too. But most of all, I think the coach should have been calling better plays down the stretch. And that's it. But they will be able to get back in the game after tomorrow night, after they win that game back at home. And this will be the first home win for San Antonio. So they got to get a home win to make this a series. So there'll be a series after tomorrow. Right now, New York is, licking their chops, but, I think they feasting too early. You got the rappers out there, they hyping everything up, gassing these boys up. Just not knowing that San Antonio is getting ready to turn the heat up on these boys. They blew a 29-point lead. So trust me, when they come back to San Antonio, it's going to be all business. And then when they come back to New York, they're going to be all business too. And then they're going to close it back out in San Antonio, game 7. Mark my word. Mark my word. Yep. So like I said, man, it's been a hot week all week throughout the country, especially here in Detroit. But it cooled down. Today was a nice cool day. It wasn't too hot to be, working. Because I tell you what, the other day, boy, I was sweating bullets. Literally. Didn't have nothing to drink all week and was still up in there sweating. It was so hot. So when it's like 80, 90 degrees outside, it's probably 10 to 20 degrees higher when you're working inside. But yeah, man, it's Freestyle Friday tonight. We're going to have a few great topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to be discussing that Carmelo Anthony's, the whole jury decisions and, and everything involved in that trial. So I'm just waiting on my guests. I invited about 4 or 5 people to come in. So I'm waiting on, at least one of my guests before I start up tonight's show. So I'm just, pre-gaming before I start the show. But hopefully everybody's having a great night. Freestyle Friday. To like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please hit that subscribe button. Your boy is bearing down, closing down. We there. We are there. This is a goal that I set out, like I said, a few years ago. And these are one of my YouTube goals that I need to hit. And I'm right there. So what up, though, Skeeter Man 218? San Antonio might win a game, but it's over. Hey, mark my word. San Antonio's going to get that game tomorrow. And San Antonio, then they're going to come back to New York game 6. Guarantee you they'll win that game. Like I said, I blame it on the coaching staff. It was a lot of horrible calls coming down the stretch. There's no way that San Antonio should have blew a 29-point lead at all, period. So I blame that on the coach. They need to get a lot of better calls for Wemby posting up. You need to be posting up your big man versus having your big man at the top of the key looking for him to hit 3-pointers. You know what I mean? They're using him in the wrong ways, in my opinion. They got to get a little bit serious if they want to win a championship. Something I don't mind him shooting threes, but you're trying to win a championship. Put that boy on that post. Let him post them boys up, and I guarantee you, San Antonio will get a better result. Let the guards shoot the threes. Put your big man down low. Let him post up and do his thing. But I'll take my hat off to New York, man. They were able to come back from a 29-point lead and win the game. It was horrible boxing out. At the end of the game, San Antonio did not box out. There's no way that they were supposed to let that defender come in and steal that rebound and tip it back. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, it was just poor coaching down the stretch. It was just poor, just all around. Just all around, just poor play from the players all around, from coaching to the players. CC Motion 1998 said, salute, brother. What's good, man? How everybody doing tonight? We're gonna be talking a little bit about this Carmelo Anthony trial tonight. I'm just waiting. Like I said, I'm waiting on a few of my guests to come in before we start tonight's show. CC Motion 1998 said this era of the big man bringing the ball up the court, playing like guard isn't championship level ball. And I agree. And I just got through saying that there's no way that you should, in situations, you should, in the championship, in the playoffs, the finals, you should not be having your big man shooting threes unless it's just a situational where, you may be up, some points. But look, put this big man down on the block. Let him post up and do his thing. That's where they went wrong. They were just three happy, put it that way. The coach allowed for the players to settle. They were just throwing up 3 balls, man, and relying on jump shots when they should have just, like I said, and then in the fourth quarter, I believe San Antonio was they had New York in the penalty. There's no way that you should have not had your big man and your guards tacking that basket trying to get to that free throw line. So like I said, that's where they failed that, man. They did not use their big man to his full potential, but I guarantee you, this game in San Antonio, you're going to see this boy all in the box. He's going to be trying to, there's no way he should start this game off down low, man, trying to put, like I believe the first game that they won where he put New York big mans in a penalty early. They had to bring third streamers off the bench, and that's what New York is going to probably, end up having to do, because I think game 3, the coaching to switch up everything. You will see Wemby down low. He's not going to be taking as many 3-point shots as he was, in that last game. And this series overall, but I agree with you, CC Motion, man. The era of the big man has definitely changed, but they need to get back to basics. I don't think old school failed at what they were doing with their big men. So I don't think a big man it'll never change to the point where you don't have your big man down low on that box. That's where San Antonio went wrong. They were relying this man to, and I'm cool with all the pick and rolls too, but New York was picking that pick and roll up trapping and stopping it. And this what San Antonio has to start doing more. They have to start taking the ball out of New York's guard. What's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. It's give me New York's guard name again. I don't forget his name, but the point guard that's been killing them. But they got to start taking the ball out of his hand at half court, putting the ball in other shooters' hands, forcing them to shoot. You can't let him just come down, dribble down, pull up three. You have to make him work for these points. It's just the game is too easy for him right now. Bronson is his name, man. They got to start taking the ball out of Bronson's hand at half court, especially late in the game. And I'm gonna say early in the game. Put that defense, lock them up early. Make them work hard for it. CC Motion also made a comment. It's like I said before. It's like Muhammad Ali trying to fight using Tyson's peekaboo style. Hold on, somebody just put in another comment. My bad. Let me go back. Trying to use Mike Tyson's peekaboo. Hold on, guys. I'm just going to show it so it can just stay right there. Trying to use Mike Tyson peekaboo style. If it don't make sense, the NBA confuses me. Stick to what works. I agree, man. In San Antonio, man, they have to, Bronson, I said that. They have to take the ball out of Bronson's hands at half court. Put the ball in other guys' hands and make them be shooters and make them, make shots. Because like I said, Bronson has definitely earned himself, a double team at half court to take the ball out of his hands, to put the ball in other shooters' hands. And that's what San Antonio is going to have to do, especially when they go back. And I was saying this game in San Antonio, but especially when they go back to New York for that game 6. Because the game has gotten too easy for him. He's just coming down, pulling up, and he's actually hitting. So I can't, you can't complain with that, but just make him work hard. Put double teams on him. Sometimes you have to triple team if you have to win a game. You got to do what you got to do to win. Be physical with these boys. San Antonio is the bigger, the more physical team, and they got to play like that. New York has been really, just outplaying them, out rebounding them in the shoulder in that last game. There's no way an NBA team should have let anybody come back from a 29-point lead, especially the playoffs. CC Motion said, "Who you got for MVP for the Knicks so far, fam?" Hey, at the end of the day, man, it's gonna have to be your boy Bronson. He's been New York's everything. Yep. So, but yeah, he lit my team up last year, and I'm still upset that my Detroit Pistons got knocked out because I thought we would have matched up a lot better than what Cleveland did with New York. And we would have gave New York a way better battle than what Cleveland did. But like I said, man, I'll take my hats off to New York, man. I thought San Antonio was going to sweep these boys, but it's almost been the other way around. So you have to take your hats off. You have to give the credit to Bronson, man. He's been doing his thing. When they held your boy down, he was kind of quiet in that game. He really didn't do too much for New York. What's New York big man? It'll come to me in a second. Okay, we got Big Ken getting ready to enter the stage tonight. Big Ken, what up, though?
What it do? What up, though?
What up, though? You started up the show just freestyling and waiting until a few of my guests come on in tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the show, bro.
This Big Hen from the 313, and I got my wife with me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, man, we just Freestyling, just waiting on a few more people to come in. I invited 4 to 5 guests to come on in. So you were the first person to come in. So how far are you guys away from being to the crib?
About 5 minutes.
Okay.
About,
So yeah,
about
man, we
five
just
minutes.
talking about right now. We sitting up here talking about this San Antonio, New York finals game, man. What do you think? What do you think San Antonio is going to do? I still think San Antonio is going to win tomorrow. Go back to New York, snatch that game up, and close it out in Game 7 in San Antonio. Give me your thoughts and your
We
opinion on this series thus far, Big Ken.
I got San Antonio. I had San Antonio winning. I ain't gonna jump ship at this point, so I still got in San Antonio winning it. If they pull this one off after that loss they just took the other day, hey, Wimpy should get he should get player he should be the man, bro. But
Yeah,
New York
he
kind of
definitely is. Look, man, it was poor coaching down the stretch. There's no way, and poor, and I blame it on the players too, man. They thought they had that game in the bag. They allowed for New York to come back, and it was just poor coach play calling and coaching. There's no way they shouldn't have had Wimby on them blocks, getting points from down low versus trying to have this man up top, shooting threes and things like that. That's
yeah
what we
he
were
was
just talking about before you came in.
yeah he was him being a center out there shooting threes. If you get a chance to shoot it every blue moon, but him just out there pulling like he a guard, he gotta he gotta be like you said, down low, stopping everything down low and playing the position that he was getting paid to play, a center. So um, yeah, but I got them winning it. They got a battle now. It's 3-1. So a few teams has came back and won it. I know LeBron did it, and I know since he did it years ago, I think a few other teams don't did it.
Yeah,
So
it's a few
it's not.
more other teams that have done it. I would have to look it up. But yeah, and I was just talking about everything that you said. I was just saying right before you came in about them having a big man just sitting up pulling threes. Every now and then, I'm okay with that. But in the finals, the playoffs, you gotta have your big man on that block.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it.
You can't have him out there pulling threes and then he miss and then who's there to get the rebounds like he normally. So all that go into factor. So
Right.
but yeah, I definitely got them winning it, bro. We gonna see.
Okay.
We
Well,
gonna
what up,
see.
though, Joe? We
What
got
though?
Joseph Knows entering the stage. He's up here with us. What's good, my guy?
How you doing, man?
Well, I'll allow you to formally introduce yourself to the show. I can't see you, Joe. Look like you went out.
Can you
Okay,
see?
there you
Can you
go.
see me?
I can see you. Yep. So, but yeah, man, we were just sitting here chopping it up, waiting for a few more people to jump in. Joe jumped in, so we're gonna go on ahead and start up tonight's conversation. So Joe, formally introduce yourself to the show, and we're going ahead and start everything up.
I'm Joseph Knows, man. That's it. Joseph Knows from Detroit.
There we go. There we go.
All day.
Okay.
New York,
And I want
New
to welcome
York,
both of
San
you guys
Antonio
to the show.
fan.
Look, man, we did a show earlier about this conversation we're getting ready to talk about. It's Freestyle Friday. We got a couple of topics and conversations we're going to talk about, but right now we're getting ready to get off into this Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf case that the jury just came back and found this young man guilty, and they came back with a 35-year sentence. Joe, and I'm going to go in here and start off with you, man. You made a lot of comments on social media, and it's been a lot of controversial things that you said about this case. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinion on what you thought this jury came back with this guilty verdict, and we'll go from there. So, give me your thoughts on this guilty verdict.
They made the right they made the right call. I think a lot of people are uh, just stuck on the fact that it's a a black man, a black boy going to jail for murder and is perceived to be self-defense. And I think a lot of people is stuck on the fact of the race part of the aspect and just ignoring the facts of the case. Uh, he's guilty. He commit murder. This wasn't self-defense whatsoever.
Okay,
This is
okay.
not self-defense at all.
Now, so you think that the 35-year sentence that they gave him was justified for what he did?
So if there's a self-defense in that, then no, it wouldn't be justified. Listen, I don't really want to argue with people about whether or not it should have been murder or it should be manslaughter. I wouldn't accept manslaughter. But if I was the father, I wouldn't want that. And
Okay,
because I don't think
now tell people why you say that.
because I don't think that his intention was to kill him. I think that his intention was to hurt him, but not to kill him.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to ask Big Hen and Shine. We got Shina J too in the car, I believe, with Big Hen. I'm asking you that same question, Hen. Give me your thoughts on the guilty verdict, and also give me your thoughts on the 35-year sentence that they gave this young man.
I believe he definitely need a retrial because I'm just gonna go off of like Joe said, murder is murder, but he came in a situation where he was trying to defend himself against more than one person, and he just happened to have a knife. We all have been in situations before, and we all have been told if somebody's bigger than you or of that nature, you pick up something, you hit them or whatever you have, and he just happened to have a knife. The white young man just happened to die. It's a horrible situation. But yeah, it was murder. But for them to give him 35, like he meant to kill the young man, no. I think if he went before a jury of his peers, it would have been definitely different.
What do you mean his peers? And it
I
wasn't.
mean, well,
I want to.
let me say instead of saying peers, a jury that had a mixed race jury
He did have
instead
a
of
mixed.
all white. That ain't what.
It was not an all white jury. It wasn't.
Well,
there was. I don't know why they keep saying this. It wasn't. It was not an all white jury.
Ahead,
it was an all white jury.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't any people that look like us on the jury. Joe,
Okay,
I think it's what Big Hen is trying to say.
You can say that it wasn't nobody black on the jury.
Right.
Well, actually,
no, that's a fact. There was not one black
And that's
African American jury on
that's not a problem for you, Joe. That
no,
it wasn't. You didn't have a problem with that?
no, I didn't have a problem with that. Okay, okay, hold on. I do have a problem with that, but it's not for the reasons you think. Why? Hold on. Let me see.
I don't want you to change it because I said something, bro. I want you to say what's on your mind.
Go ahead. Let him finish. Begin. Go ahead.
I want you to understand why I said this. It ain't for the reason you think. I don't want a jury. I feel like you got a just trial, but let me say why I wish it was a black person in that jury, just so we can eliminate this damn argument. That's it. He was getting convicted guilty, whether it was a black guy on that jury, a black woman on that jury, doesn't matter. He was getting convicted.
I don't think so.
So you feel like he still would have got 35?
Hold on for 1 minute. Before you guys go on, keep your thought right there, Joe. We just got DJ Shiny D entering the stage.
DJ,
and I'll go ahead and let you formally introduce yourself to the show. Go ahead, DJ Shiny D.
I'm DJ Shiny D. Now let's get back to Joseph because
let's go.
Okay. So look, before you get back to Joe, I'm going to ask you the same first questions that I asked them. Give me your thoughts on the guilty verdict, and do you think 35 years was pretty much overkill?
I don't think
that was 35 years was justified. Put it that way. Do you think it was a justified trial?
I think it was justified from my side. I feel like if you're gonna tell a story, you have to start at the beginning. Once upon a time, Metcalf put his hands on him. And so if we're gonna start there's a cause and effect for every fucking thing you do. So I think that even if they found him guilty, it shouldn't have been 35 years guilty. Manslaughter, something like, give him 5 years or something like that. But I don't feel like he should have been found guilty at all. I just don't.
That's crazy. That's
I do.
diabolical.
I
Oh,
do not.
okay. Okay, and so what do you think they should have how many years you think he should have got then? Because before you answer that and before I let Joe and Big Ken finish talking what they were talking, I'll give my opinion. I try to stay biased on situations like this, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to say that the young man he was guilty. He took someone's life, in the beginning, and we just talked about this. We had a big, Big Ken was on a show the other day when we talked about this when the verdict actually came back. We had a lot of people, a lot of Caucasians in the comments. We had a lot of black people who commented too. In my opinion, and I just wanted to get this straight. The young man was guilty of murder. But do I think the 35 years suffice what he did? I'm gonna say no. Because I think he was defending himself. I don't think that he meant to kill this young man. I think he was just trying to defend himself, get the boy off him. So I don't think 35 years should have should have been suffice enough for what he did. So I think it was more like manslaughter. Anywhere from like 5 to 9 years is what I thought he should have got. But go ahead.
Whoa. How many years?
They were talking about.
How many years you just said? 5 to what?
I say normally. No, listen, we saw a lot of cases over the past 5 years where we saw justified shootings. I say anywhere from 5 to 9 years.
Listen, can I say this?
Yeah.
So I think that those are manslaughter.
That's what I want to say real quick. I just want to say that I don't think
we saw white shooters for shooting black men in the back get away with justified homicide. So for this juror to come back with manslaughter charges, I thought that would have been justified in my opinion. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go ahead and have at it.
You promise? Okay. All right. So listen, the thing about it is, the reason I felt like he shouldn't have been found guilty is because if the roles had been reversed, it would have been a not guilty.
Not that part. Yeah.
It would have been a not guilty. If it was Metcalf that would have killed Anthony, it would have been not guilty. First of all, because his father is friends with the judge. How is that not a conflict of interest?
I'm glad you said that.
Oh, wow.
First of all, yes. That's not crazy because it's not true. It's been debunked. You can check. I got all the sources in the world. It's been debunked. It's on. First of all, the judge. Let me finish.
Fox News. That's where you got your resources.
No. But you can go. You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere online, and you will find out that the judge had went on live and said 3 things that was not true. He said he did not know. He did not know Metcalf at all. The pictures are fake. That was not him in the pictures, or the prosecutor was in the pictures. He verified it was not him at all, which it wasn't. The judge is a younger guy. That wasn't him. And the prosecutor, that was not the prosecutor in that case. So that was a fake AI picture in that picture for one. Then, I want to debunk the situation, which I said that it was an all-white jury. No, it was 7 white, 3 Asian, and 1 was a European descendant. It wasn't all white.
Well, pretty much that's an all-white jury.
Right, that's an all-white jury.
Most Asians, hold on. Pretty much that's
7
what
white.
You just said, Joe. That's an all-white jury because the 3 Asians that you said, they look at themselves and they register as Caucasian.
Are we sticking to what the facts is, or are we sticking what we think it is?
Asians are not
to
the facts.
Asians. Asians are not white.
People say all-white jury. Let me say this: when people say an all-white jury, when they mean that's when they see no people that looks like everyone that's in this panel. No,
that's not true. Because one of them was. No, it's not a fact. Because if you said
no African Americans on that,
we're not speaking. We're not speaking hypothetically. We are speaking what's
We're not.
directly the
So
demographic. The
were there any
demographic.
African Americans on that panel, Joe?
You
I'm
don't. You
asking you that
don't.
question.
You. But this is where everybody is going off top of that because you keep saying that there's no African Americans on. Do you understand the
It wasn't.
demographic? Let me finish. Do you
Go
understand
ahead.
the demographic of that city? Do y'all
But
understand that?
his peers is what we're talking about. His
No.
Right.
peers.
When you
Right.
say his peers,
Yeah.
his peers will be what's in his city.
His
Okay. There
And
was
see
not.
what
There
hold
was.
in
on,
They were.
his city.
There.
hold
Correct.
on. Let me
There were none
finish.
of his peers
You're right. You
in the
know why?
jury.
You know why? Because he's in a town where there's less than 10% black in that town.
Okay, Joe. But the point that we trying to make to you, Joe, doesn't make it right in this trial when he's fighting for his life. And we all know that he didn't mean to kill the boy. So yeah, the boy ended up dying. So yeah, we
So
gotta
and then
we say it
also
again.
Also, the jury selection was several black people that were selected to make the jury, but they said dumbass shit to get them disqualified. They asked one black juror, "Can you be non-biased in making a decision concerning this case?" He said, "I am black and I cannot see myself convicting a black man." That
That's the
is on
truth.
record. He said
That's
that,
the
son.
Okay,
truth.
so I mean, so that's the truth. That's the truth, Joe.
You have my hand on the
You
gun.
don't. Okay, cool, but you don't select people like that.
Well, I mean, but you do select people like that.
No,
They
you
just
don't.
happen to be white.
No, you don't select people like that. You don't select anybody that will tell you that I cannot make a selection based on facts because I cannot see myself voting. I can't see myself convicting a black man. You don't
He
put
Well,
just
people
you
like that in
told
the
the
definitely wanted
jury.
truth.
him on the jury,
He told the
That's
truth,
good.
the
Joe.
prosecution,
We don't
you
have a
definitely wanted
problem
him
with
on your jury, but I don't think the judge or the prosecution would have allowed,
I
for him
agree.
to be on the jury for even saying those
And,
words.
and other ones were school teachers that there were school teachers and they didn't want a direct school teacher on the jury panel too. And most of the other black people was had either serious issues going on or that they was school teachers and they did not want school teachers on
I'm
the
hearing
jury
a lot
panel.
of
But you
Now,
think
feedback
now
from
the
somebody in the
question, now the
background.
question that I asked you, Joe, was, do you think that it would make a difference if he had black people on the panel?
Hell no.
yes.
Because hell no. You know why I don't think so? Because the black
You
people
think it
that's
would have been? You think it would have been unanimous decision
hell
that he was guilty with black people on the judge on the jury?
this prosecution was a slam easy dunk. Anybody that's had a brain would have convicted him. I don't see no
Yeah.
way that he have a defense that of anything you're saying. He doesn't have a defense. This was clear case murder.
Okay, now I want to ask DJ Shiny D this. He's been convicted. They gave him the 35 years. Now, do you think that his lawyer should be trying to set up for a retrial, or do you think that he's going to be granted a retrial?
Well,
Oh fuck
You
yeah!
mean
He
he's
appeal?
definitely
appealed.
needs a
He's
retrial.
appealed
Hold on,
already.
let me
He's
hear
a,
DJ Shiny,
well,
and then
he's
we'll go to you
appealed
next week, Ken.
already. So, they're going to go through the appeal process from what I
Right.
hear, and I'm not sure. Like, a bunch of people gave a bunch of money. So, he'll be able to get counsel. I think that he was
Yeah,
slighted
I'm
by the
sorry about that.
yeah. I think he should definitely get new counsel because his
Yeah,
counsel should have never allowed that jury to be picked for him. I just think it was
that
all
that was too easy. That
it
was
was,
too easy for them to convict him.
yeah, they made an example out of
Right. Go
him.
ahead, Big Ken. I'm gonna ask you that same question. Do you think that his lawyer should be appealing this and trying to get a retrial, and
Yeah.
then trying to move this trial out of the city, like Joe said, into a city where it's going to be more black jurors on the jury?
You know,
Listen,
unfortunately,
my opinion.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. My
No,
opinion
you're
on
right.
that is he definitely need a retrial. There's no way in hell that he was gonna win that case with 3 Chinese people, and we already just had a trial where the Chinese man just shot the little black boy in the back and got off on that when he was running. So how in the
Right.
hell do you think we was gonna get a trial with 3 Chinese men and 7 white people? You might as well hang him right there, right in front of right in front of all those white folks that
Right.
just tried him, because he was hung from the beginning, and that's the
Yeah.
way I feel.
And pretty much that's what they did. So I'm gonna ask Joe that same question. Joe, do you think that his lawyers are gonna appeal, and do you think it should be a retrial? And if so, do you think that they should try to get this trial moved to a different city where it's more that we know that it may be more black jurors to sit on this jury?
Joe
Joe,
doing his thing.
he's still in there. Look like he's having a few technical difficulties. But DJ Shiny D, until Joe come back in, go in and finish with the comments.
Well,
About
first
this
of all,
jury, because Joe said that Joe seemed to think that it were black jurors on this jury, but in my opinion, I don't think I saw that one person on that jury that looked like me or you.
well, to me, like I said, it shouldn't have been. It was just set up for him to fail. Let me say that. The one thing about when white people feel like they have been slighted, they will make it happen, whatever it is. They will put
That
new
part.
laws in place to make
That
it
part.
Yes.
happen. You know what I mean? So I'm just tired of these good
Right.
old boys. I'm tired of these good old boys. This system. This where I know the judge and I know the cop and I know, we got to do something about that. And I do think that they should move. I'm glad they gave him a bunch of money, and I pray that his parents use it correctly this time, and
His
that
pa-
they put the money
So
into
so
the
they so
county.
they didn't use the money that they raised, the 600, almost damn near close to $1 million. A lot of
They bought
people
some
is
property
talking bad
or
about the
something.
lawyer that they had. So do you think the lawyer that they had was not a good lawyer?
I think that he's a part of that system. And so,
Mm,
one thing that Dave Chappelle talked
my
about.
headset.
Dave Chappelle talked about being an entertainer and going
What's
into a
this?
meeting, and they telling him, okay, well, we got you, we'll get you a lawyer so you can read over your contract. But what if the producer and the lawyer are friends? You know what I mean?
yeah, well,
So they
yeah,
both acting like they, not together, and it's just like the little ball under the coconut thing at the train station. They all know each other. So
yeah,
that's my fear for this young man, is they wanted to make an
okay,
example out of him. They are trying to gaslight us. They are trying to gaslight. I think the only way that this is going to change is if black people stop spending money in that city.
yeah.
Stop.
And
Don't
Joe,
work
I don't
there. Don't go there. Don't move out of there. Let white people have their own space.
right.
I think we should be segregated in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good conversation right there. But Joe, can you hear us? Joe? Look like Joe having some technical difficulties. But yeah, man, so in my opinion, I think this trial needs to be moved. I think they definitely needs to appeal and ask for a new trial, because in my opinion, I don't think 35 years is what this young man should have not gotten, because they could not and did not prove that he intentionally tried to kill this young man. He was protecting himself. In my opinion, I think he was just trying to get this boy up off of him, and the young man ended up dying in that situation. I don't think I think if Austin Metcalf would have kept his hands to himself, he wouldn't have put himself in that situation, because in my opinion, Carmelo Anthony did not come to that track meet, or he did not go under that tent with intentions to kill anybody. You know what I
And
mean?
Right.
where's
So
the
I think
other
the
video?
35 years was a little bit overkill. But Shauna J, give me your thoughts, give me your opinion. Welcome to the show.
So my opinion is this: had it been black on black crime, for one, he wouldn't have got 35 years, right? He wouldn't have got 35 years. And if it was the other way around, the young white young man would have been saying, "Oh, it's self defense. He was coming at me."
They would let him off.
They would have let him off.
He would have got off.
It was another case where they said that a white person did something, or and a Spanish guy did something. They didn't get no time like that. They got one guy got 10 years, the other guy got 5 years, and somebody died in both cases. But they made an example out of them. And the whole thing in a nutshell is, I just feel like he wouldn't have got a fair trial with the Asian people being on there. And there's nothing wrong with having a mixture of people on there, but when it comes to Asian people, they think like white people do.
Yeah. Well, and they also register as whites when it comes to voting.
Yeah, see. So he wouldn't have got a fair trial. You know, you got
Charleston White. Man, you know, at the end of the day, he was railroaded. I think this Charleston. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you got Charleston White who's giving up seven.
Look like Joe's having a few technical difficulties.
Wait, what did Charleston White do?
They claim that Charleston White is supposed to give up.
Oh yeah, he don't. Yeah, and
$75,000.
Yeah, I think it was like $65,000 or $70,000.
Yeah, somebody gave $5 million.
Cardi B.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, man, you know, our people are still trying to get behind this young man. You know, this we all think, you know, he was railroaded. We all feel the same way, like far as there should have been a mixture of blacks throughout this jury. You know, and I said this in the beginning, before this trial even started. Once they picked the juries, and they selected the jurors, I'm like, okay, it's already a setup. You know, because I don't see anyone that looks like Carmelo Anthony on that jury.
Now, do I think he's
okay, now
supposed to get off?
Riddle me this, Batman. I don't feel like it was nowhere in hell that they should have been able to get that jury up there unless there was black people on the panel.
No, that's a fact. You know, so I don't even know how his lawyer would even want to go on with this case, you know, knowing that there's not one black juror, you know, or not one person that looks
exactly.
like him.
I'm like, it's no way that case should have went on without no black people. Exactly.
But
that's how you know they hung him right from the beginning.
But Joseph was correct when saying that a jury of your peers is not your age or your racial background. It is from your community. So it could be older, elderly white people, as long as they live where you are from. They can be selected for this jury. So I think that in itself needs to be changed.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Joe, before you went out, man, you were having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I asked you the question about the
Stop
jury.
from the gas station.
Do you think the lawyers needs to ask for a retrial, and this should be moved to a different city, and that be held in the same city, you know, be put in a city where it's actually more blacks that's probably going to be on this jury if it's moved. So give me your opinion on the jury, and should this be moved to a different city?
No, it should not be moved. First and foremost, I know that people want this to move because you're looking for more of a favorable result. That's not going to happen. In order for a jury to move to a different city, you will have to be able to prove a lot of things what pertain to not being fair. And it doesn't matter what you're sending him to. People are going to convict him. So, listen, I don't understand what people are even saying about his attorney. He doesn't have much to work with.
He's appealed.
Well, coming up, you know, before you came back in, we were just talking about all the, you know, the stars that's backing him up. You know, Charleston White donated $70,000. Cardi B gave up $5 million. You know, you got a lot of black people that's in an upward. They want this case moved. They want this retrial. And I think it's going to happen.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going nowhere. I will put any amount of dollar I have on the line. It's not going nowhere.
Well, you know what? It really kind of goes back.
Joe,
Wait, let me say this.
Don't underestimate the power of blacks when they get behind somebody.
You said do not underestimate the power of blacks, and tell me where have that moved and changed anything in the justice system.
It's
Because
that
what you're
Um,
saying right
3/5 a
now
man.
has
It's
not
that
moved no
three
needles
fifths.
nowhere.
It's that 3/5 a man. So they can do stuff to us, and they let it go. They let it slide because it's us. We do anything to
Why
them,
my sound keep going out?
anything to them, and it
Can you
is,
hear me?
oh my God, it is such a big thing. And I think that
I can
at
hear you,
this
Joe.
point,
Go ahead, DJ
the
Shiny D.
only way peaceful protesting does not work. I will
I
never
can't hear
protest
her.
again.
At
You
all.
can't hear me? Y'all can't hear
I can
me?
hear you. I can hear
I
you,
don't hear
Sonny.
nobody.
I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, DJ Shiny
Okay.
D. I think Joe is just having some problems. Go ahead.
Okay, well, peaceful protest does not work. I think that the only thing will be our money and our withdrawal from their business. That's the only thing that will speak to them right now.
No, that's a fact. Yep. So, Big
So,
Ken, I want to ask you this question: what lesson do you think has been learned through this whole court proceedings and just the whole incident that happened?
Excuse me, I was letting everybody talk, getting a bite to eat, but I just feel like, you know, basically like what we said. I know Joe listening with the race thing. It's got to come up, Joe, because that's what we dealing with here, a white
yeah,
person and a black person. So there's no way to avoid that, Joe. So the whole thing it was definitely a mistrial. He could have never had a fair trial with the jury he got, and for you to say that you feel like that it's not gonna change no matter what much, Joe, you
No,
black. So whatever hope that you got for your people, you need to have it for Carmelo Anthony, bro. I don't
I
give a
don't.
damn. I
I
don't
don't
give a damn
consider.
what he
I
did
don't.
wrong. If it was a white boy, you already know. You
I
already know,
don't.
Joe, in your heart that they would have found him not guilty, point blank.
Let
So
me
for
say
him to
Okay,
this.
get
so Big
35
Ken,
years
so
for
so
self
give
defense,
me answer this question: what lessons do you think was learned in this whole situation, Big Ken? That's the question that I asked you too.
the lesson that's learned is that people better get ready because this is not over. It's just the
I don't
beginning.
hear nobody but you, Dang.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. The lesson that I learned
Wow.
is that this stuff that we going through right now with Carmelo Anthony and the young man that lost his life, that nobody want that, bro. But it's about to be some type of awakening right now behind this. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what's gonna happen. We still black, and that's just what it is, bro. Ain't no way around it. I hope he get another trial, and the money that's being put up, I think it is gonna make a difference. I don't agree with you at all, Joe. At all.
And I'm gonna ask you that same question, LaShawn, DJ Shiny D. Do you think
Mhm.
what lesson do you think, if any, has been learned in this whole court proceedings and the whole incident that happened with Carlo Anthony and Austin Metcalf?
I think that is designed to promote fear, and because that could very well happen to any one of us
Yeah.
or our children at any given time. And it could just be a blink of an eye. I kind of refer back to, what I've read about slavery, and the thing that scares me is that in a different time, or if everybody didn't have a camera, they would have snatched him up right then and there and went and hung him without a trial, without a conviction or anything else. White people think that they are the lawmakers. They think that they can call all of the shots. And so I just don't think that with him being in that community, in that area, that he's never, people have considered him guilty already. So just because I go to sign up for jury duty and I say, "Oh no, I don't really know." No, you formed an opinion already. So that black guy that went to jury duty, he was honest. White people
That's
aren't
it.
known to be the most honest.
Yeah,
So
that was it.
so I think whatever their agenda is, they are going to find a loophole, red tape, whatever it is, to make their agenda come to fruition. They just don't like to see us where they are. First of all, they don't want to see us where they are. They don't. So the fact that he was under the tent pissed them off, even though he was invited under the tent. even though he didn't start. He was not the aggressor. He
Right.
said, how many times? Don't put your hands on me. What the fuck else do you have to do? Keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Right, because he even told him,
That's
"You
the
put your
let.
hands on me, what did he say? I'm gonna show you. You gonna fuck around and find out." But
Yeah.
Joe, I don't know if you heard this question, and you've been having a few technical difficulties. Do you think there was what lesson do you think was learned in this situation through the stabbing and through these court proceedings?
The only lesson here is can everybody hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
they can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
All right, so the only lesson here is you need to think before you act. I don't understand y'all. And I'm just saying this from y'all, and I mean this everyone. I don't get it. You asking for a attorney, which he had an attorney, to defend something that is so obvious. And you want a miracle. This is not the Bible.
We want him to get off.
There's no miracle coming from this. I know y'all think of retry, appeal. The appeal is very likely not going to happen. Unless there was something temporizing with that jury selection. That's the only area that the appeal is going to happen at, in that jury selection. And I give you that part. They can have an argument there. You're not getting
Well,
an
that's all
appeal for
we,
no other reason.
Joe. That's all
It
we
took them
need,
3
Joe.
hours to make a
That's all
decision.
we
You know
need,
why?
Joe.
I mean, I would go went on there and convicted him for murder. And then Big Hand said something about he's my people. I don't consider him my people.
Oh wow.
I don't consider him my people
Oh
because he's
wow.
black.
That's fucked up,
In
Joe.
order for you to be my people, my people make good decisions, and that is not my people. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
He committed a crime. And I don't care about him being pushed. You don't commit murder when somebody pushes you. See, and that's the issue what I have with
So
black
Joe,
people,
you going against
because
the
we
fact
keep
that we
thinking
said that he
that
didn't want to commit murder, Joe.
we really
He
have
committed
to
murder. He did
walk
not
a,
want to
a
commit murder.
line when it comes down. Everybody keeps
I,
saying that the justice system is not fair to black people. That's what everybody keeps saying. And then you know that the
we
justice system.
know the
Hold on,
justice
hold
system
on,
is
hold on.
set up
Wait,
for
wait, let
blacks
him
not
talk.
to win.
Let
You
me
know
Let
that,
finish.
me hear.
Joe.
Let
But
me
go ahead.
Let me hear what he's
let me finish,
saying.
please.
Go ahead,
Because
Joe.
everybody keeps saying that the justice system is not fair to black people. And if you know that the justice system is not fair to black people, which I agree and disagree with at the same time, then you need to make sure that you are following the law to the T. Because when you're not following the law to the T, this is the outcome. You
First of
know
all,
this. So why
no,
put
they
yourself in
don't
this
follow the law
situation?
for the That's the craziest
You
thing
know,
I've ever
everybody
heard.
want to move to the
Hey, that's the
suburbs.
craziest shit I
Until
ever
they
heard
have to
too,
deal with
T.
the suburb rules. They are in
Now
a
go ahead. Now I
wealthy.
want DJ Shiny D to combat what you just
That's the
said, Joe. Go ahead, DJ
that's
Shiny
that's
D.
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. So he didn't go out to rob somebody. He didn't go out to actually hurt somebody. He stepped under a tent to get out of the rain. It didn't warrant him having hands put on him at all. But if you come at me aggressively, I would have stabbed you too.
Hello.
I really would have. Because you don't deserve to put your hands on me, and especially aggressive. You were aggressive. I want to know where is the videotape and why they wouldn't let the videotape be admissible in court.
Yeah, and why didn't they allow for cameras to be in there too? To me, it was almost like they were trying to hide something. But
You
go
no
ahead,
no
Big
you
Ken.
don't.
Give me your comments.
You said
Big
what?
Ken. No, I
Oh,
was letting
say
Big Ken
again.
come back in.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just, I'm like, I really don't know what to say about some of the stuff that Joe just said, but he got his own opinion. So, I'm
go
just gonna
ahead.
leave it. I'm gonna leave it like that, bro, because I'm a little hurt that you said some of the
Me
things that you
too.
just said.
Me
You let it out
too.
your mouth. You the one that got to live with what you said, bro. And I know that you voted for Trump too. So it's a lot of things that I want to say, but I'm just gonna keep it where we
Mm,
at with it right now. But I'm
yeah,
I'm definitely
me too.
offended by what you said, Joe.
Me too.
Definitely.
Well, look, I'm going to give my opinion on the lesson I think that probably was learned. And I'm
Hold on, hold
going to
Damon.
agree with DJ
Da-
Shiny D said.
Damon,
You
you
have
gotta
to
let me
learn to
respond.
keep your hands to your motherfucking self. That's what Austin Metcalf started. He started an incident that he could not finish. If he would have kept his hands to himself, none of this wouldn't have started. That young man was sitting up under that tent, undercover for rain. It was a situation where they were rained out. Everybody was up under this tent, for cover. This young man did not start this shit with himself. In my opinion, I don't think he intentionally tried to kill this young man. I will give Joe some credit. I think we have to start dealing with situations like this, especially with our black men, because we have a lot of black men that's locked up, in prison now because they didn't have conflict resolution. And it's come on both sides.
I agree
I'm
with
not going
that.
to blame Carmelo Anthony because he was just really, in my opinion, protecting himself. But I think if Austin Metcalf would have had some
Protecting
conflict
himself
resolution, none of
of
this wouldn't have
what?
happened. But go ahead, Joe. I'm gonna
Ho-
let you come
Hold
in and
on.
give your opinion.
Listen. We gotta stop with this dumbass shit y'all talking about. This is stupid. This is so stupid.
Now go ahead.
Because
What dumb shit you
DJ
talking about? Because in my
DJ
opinion,
Shine,
the dumb shit was when Austin Metcalf tried to come in there and escort this young man out of there like he was security or somebody, Joe. So
no,
I can't
no, no, no,
agree with you
no.
on that.
The dumb
I don't
shit,
think
the
anything nobody
the
said today on this stage was dumb. Everybody's just giving their opinion. But go ahead. I want to hear your opinion.
hold on. When I mean not necessarily what y'all saying, it's what I've been hearing all the last few days. It's the dumb shit I'm talking about, not necessarily what we say on this panel. I'm saying is this: you guys are looking at this from an emotional point of view, and if you said, like DJ Shiny said, if this would have
It's an
happened, I would have
emotional
stabbed him too,
situation,
and you
bro.
would be in jail
It's a
too,
fucking emotional
because that
situation.
is not the law, and we keep putting in our feelings in this shit. And it's not how it goes. The real world don't operate like this. And that's what is the issue with black people. We are thinking with emotions and we are not using logic and thinking. If that would have happened to me, I would not stab him. A push, listen, it was just a goddamn push. Which
They
means
said it
you
was
could have
more than
goddamn pushed him back. You did not have to go into your bag, pick up a knife, and stab. It wasn't that type of situation.
guess what, Joseph?
To pick
You
up a
don't get to
knife, there
start a
would have to
fight.
have been some type of extreme aggression because you're using a knife. That is a extreme measure to that's a extreme measure in
I'm
a
gonna say this, Joe. A
response.
lot of people will beg to differ. You can't tell nobody how to handle you when you started a situation. This young man pushed him, tried to escort him out of there. So you can't tell a motherfucker how to deal with you when you getting ready to fight.
You're right. I can't tell nobody that, but the goddamn law will. See, I can't. If I can't get you as a black man to get you to think, the law gonna do it for you. The consequences of your decisions will be is going to be there. You think or not. And if we
So,
continue thinking with our goddamn emotions, it's going to be more of us in jail.
okay, so
You
let's
know
not be
it's a white
emotional.
judge. You
Let's not
know
be
that the
emotional.
majority of the juries, you know the prosecutors, you know the judges are all white. Why are you putting yourself in a situation where you have to be judged by these people that you complain against?
But let
You
me
Okay, now,
say
but
complain
this.
again,
against these
And you
people.
feel that way. You
go
feel
ahead,
that
DJ
way.
Shiny D.
You feel that way. That's cool. But what do you think would have happened? What do you think would have happened if Metcalf would have pushed Anthony and Anthony would have punched him? What the fuck do you think would have happened under that tent with all them white people under there? What do you think? You thought they was gonna fight a head up? You think they just gonna fight head up with a tent full of
Hey,
white people?
I'm gonna read a few comments. You got at Drake's beat said, "Bro is speaking the truth." You got a lot of people that's agreeing with what Joe said. Burnell J 7847 said Joe cracks me up. Someone else said Joe is right. He does not seem a motion. He seems reality. So DJ Shiny D. A lot of people is agreeing with Joe. In my opinion, I think this situation on both sides should have been handled with conflict resolution, and I think both sides did not handle each side
I
There's
don't.
nobody
properly. In my opinion,
I don't. I don't expect
I'm
17.
not going to agree
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
100% with Joe, but I do
No.
agree on how on black men needs to handle situations with conflict resolution. Because we have a lot of black men that's already locked up, over shit like this, and we know that these jury system, this court system is not set up for us to win. But Big Hen, come on in and give me your comments, man. Give
You
me your
sound like
last
a
thoughts and your
slave.
comment on
You
that.
sound like a slave to me, Joseph. That's what you sound like to me. You sound
Mm.
like a slave. You do. A massa lover. That's what you sound like to me. You do.
I
Because you saying that Anthony needed to have conflict resolution, but there was no conflict resolution for Metcalf.
Dixie Delight said a wise man would leave, would have left the tent.
Yes, that's wisdom.
Yeah, but we're
Now
talking
she
about a
said,
child. We're talking about a
Proud Boy Troy
child
said,
shit.
why is this woman lecturing a man? She's not lecturing. She's just giving her opinion on what she thinks. We're all just giving our opinion. There's no hard feelings. We're just up here giving our opinion on what we thought,
Dang.
how this case,
And me and Joe do
just
this
bothered
all
a
the
lot of
time.
people and how unfair it
Dang.
was. But go ahead, DJ Shiny
What
D.
city did that happen in? Me and Joe talk about
what
this
city?
all
What city? What city did this happen in? What city did this happen in?
I
in
believe
North Carolina.
what state did this happen in, Joe?
It's in Texas.
I
In
believe.
Texas.
That's
Yeah,
what
I was
it
gonna say I
was.
believe Texas. I thought it was
Listen,
Houston, but
I wanted to
Well,
make it finish because I
I
was
I
having
got a
technical
question.
difficulties because I couldn't really respond back to y'all. But I wanted to get this out
Security
because
Man 218 said Texas.
I wasn't
Go
I
ahead,
couldn't really get.
go ahead, Shiny Jack.
No,
Go ahead.
Joe,
So
Joe. Oh, Sonny
if I'm
J.
not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, okay, if that happened down in North Carolina, right?
That's
They've
what I
been
thought.
still been finding college guys
Right.
within the last year. They found bodies lynched, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to
Mm-hmm.
say this boy wasn't scared and why that's why he did what he
Mm.
did? You know what I'm saying?
That's why he
He
did
might
what he
he might have
did.
been in fear of his life. And I'm not saying that he was supposed to get off. To take somebody's life, you're wrong.
Yeah,
Nobody has the right to take nobody's life.
for
But
sure.
he still was not given a fair trial. And I'm
Mm.
saying down in those southern states, they so quick to lynch our boys, so quick to kill them. Who's to say that boy wasn't scared for his life? That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah,
So
we see a
you
lot
don't
of
get
our
to start a
counterparts
fight.
getting off, and we see a lot of our counterparts getting off on just saying they fear for their life, meaning cops, shooting black men in the back, but Joe,
But
give me your last thoughts, give me your last words on this case, man. We've been on here for an hour and 7 minutes. We have a few people here. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Your boy is bearing down on 1,000K subscribers. I've been setting, this is the goal I set out 2 years ago, and I'm knocking on the door. I cannot do it without you guys hitting that subscribe button. So please subscribe, like, and share. But Joe, give us your last thoughts, man, your comments on this whole trial. Do you think it's going to be moved? And just give us your last thoughts and your opinion on this.
Because I had signal issues, I just want everybody to bear with me for a minute. I want to apologize if I'm passionate about this, and it's not against you guys. I understand how you feel because when I said that he's not my people, that could come off like I don't because I don't like my people or black whatever. That's not what it
That's
is.
exactly how it
My
came off, Joe.
people, when I refer to my people are people who make good decisions. I don't consider because you black, you're not my everybody that's black is not my people. So I want to make
Mm.
that very clear. So when I'm speaking on this case,
I understand
it is
that.
not because I wanted Anthony to go to prison or jail. And it might seem like that. But I, as a father, could you imagine getting a phone call that your son was stabbed in the chest all over a push? And where have we lost our damn minds at? To think that a push is the same thing as deserve murder behind it. You know how I know that's none of this shit is really true? Because every single one of us has been pushed before. Every single one of us has been, even if you want to throw the dumbass claim out there that he's been jumped, which he wasn't, because it was 21 people testified. I read on transcripts. 21 people testified, 12 of them was black. They all said that never happened. He didn't get jumped, and it was a lot of black people there seeing the same situation, and that never happened. So that's
I
cleared
thought they
up.
said that
But
Metcalf was aggressive.
when have we got jumped before? Yeah, just say for the sake of argument, it was 4 people that got jumped. When have we got jumped and we didn't scrap it out? When have that ever happened? So you mean to tell me if you got jumped, which it never happened, you couldn't fight that shit off? And even if you
Let
feel
me let me
outnumbered, really to be honest, you at a track
Joe
meeting at
Joe.
a
Hold on, before
school.
y'all come in, I want to read out a few comments too. Go ahead, Joe. Finish saying your statement.
These kids are at a school ground track center. It ain't gonna be no murder going on there. You didn't have nothing to be fair about. It was competition, grown ass man in competition mode. Like we always do when we play sports against each other team. It's a little hype. But guess what? There's no need for you to be acting as if your life is in danger for real where you need to grab that knife. What it was a coward ass black boy wanting to act tough and play his card too much. That's really what happened.
You act
And
like you know.
y'all wanna
Hold
blame
on,
it.
let me read a few
A
of these
coward
comments, y'all. The
ass black
comments,
boy, Joe.
hold on,
I don't
hold
like
on, Big
that.
Ken. The comments been coming in.
A
Proud Boy, Troy,
coward ass
8.
black
And,
boy,
Yeah,
Joe. That's the
yeah.
hold
way
on,
you
Big Ken.
feel?
I don't
Big
like
Ken,
that.
let me read these comments.
Fuck
Proud
no.
Boy Troy
I
said,
can't let
I
him get away
appreciate
with
the
that
talk.
shit, D.
Hold on, Big Ken. Let me read a few of these comments. Proud Boy Troy 8 said, I appreciate the talk. Joe seemed like a cool guy, and you're all right too, Dame. I hope you all have a good night. I'm reading a few comments, and then we'll get back to what you said. Nubian Tank. Hold on, these comments are coming so fast. Sorry about that.
Yeah, read them because I
The
can't see them.
hip crops. Wow. Go ahead, Big Ken. These comments are coming so fast I can't even read it. Big Ken is a beta emotional male, laughing out loud. Comments is coming so fast, but go ahead, Big Ken. Say your comments.
I didn't finish.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. I thought you were done.
No, you
That's
cut
why
me
I was reading
off.
the comments. I wanted you to finish what you were saying. But Big Ken, go ahead and finish saying what you were saying, and I'll let you come back, Joe.
All right.
Big Ken.
I'm kind of like, bro. You know how I feel about my people for the stuff that Joe said. I'm kind of like almost drained of what I really want to say. So I'm gonna let Joe have the mic since he got so much to say. He got
No,
the
man,
mic
at
for
the
the
end of
rest
the
of the
day,
night.
we just up here talking about a case. We're giving our opinion. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, man. Us trying to give an opinion and trying to change this situation. It's not for, neither one of us to get upset or mad at each other at the end of the day. I want everybody to be respectful to each other, and just have a great conversation. That's what we're doing. We're getting a lot of comments. A lot of people is liking the dialogue and the talk. You know what I mean? From you, Big Ken, from you, DJ Shiny D, and also Joe. So look, that's all
Can I
we're
say
doing. We're
one
just
thing?
giving our opinion and our
Yeah,
thoughts.
it's
So
nothing
go ahead,
personal.
Big Ken.
Nothing at all.
I wanna
Go
comment
ahead,
on what
DJ
Joe
Shiny
just
D.
said. First of all, we're talking about two children that were getting into it, even though they were a little older, they still children to me. I think that what would have been ideal for that situation if the adults that were standing around would have separated the two, then we would still have two young men here. But nobody did that. I think you're asking for wisdom from somebody who maybe didn't have wisdom. You're asking for a lot. I think that if you start a fight with me, you don't get to choose how I show up. You don't get to choose that. And if you push me, then you got to accept whatever the fuck I got coming for you because you
All right.
started it. So once upon a time, Metcalf put his hands on Anthony. That started everything. If that hadn't have happened, if one adult would have stood in and said, hey, break it up. You take him over there, I'll take him over here, then we will have two people alive. Or we will have two adults.
So
Right.
I just don't understand how you putting all this pressure on the black boy to know when you don't get to choose how I show up if I'm afraid. You don't get to choose that. How dare you? You don't know what I've been through. I'm not you. So I would love it if you would just show a little mercy and compassion for people who may not be as wise as you right now, or may not have the upbringing that you had right now. So just show people some compassion and stop being so hard on people and then soft on others. That's what I don't like about what you're saying, Joe.
Okay, and I want to read this comment before you come back in, Joe. At Danny513 said, Black folks will cry racism when people judge them as a whole for a few bad apples, but will turn around and do the same to other races. You know, but Big Hen, give me your last thoughts, give me your comments on just this whole conversation, man.
I just pray the boy get a retrial. You know, my opinion is my opinion. You know, like Joe said, you know, people could getting emotional about it, putting their feelings in it, but like I was trying to explain to Joe, it's a fucking emotional trial. It's two kids. Nobody was supposed to die. Somebody did die. So for us to go
Right.
and say that he deserved a life sentence, he did kill
I
someone.
agree with him.
He do deserve a punishment for killing somebody. But for him to say that would almost be like him saying he premeditated that he was going to kill this boy. That ain't what happened.
That ain't what happened.
That's not what happened at all. He came, he was wrong for bringing the knife, he was wrong for bringing the bat or whatever he brought to defend himself. But when you in a fight and you don't know how many people is going to be in the fight, we don't know if he felt like he was going to get jumped. But obviously he was preparing for something.
Right.
And you don't get
At
to choose how you
At
prepare
Dixieland
yourself.
Delight said he went to antagonizing, and that chill out 0024 said, can we go back to the 90s where kids were kids? I agree.
I
We need to
agree.
go back to the 90s. But DJ Shiny D, go ahead.
Well, we got to go back to when to the 90s when parents were parents, if
Hello.
that's the case. So let's start there. So, like I said,
We
every
can't.
story has a beginning. So we always have to start at the beginning of the story, once upon a time. And once upon a time, if nobody put their hands on them, then we wouldn't be here right now talking about
Yeah, no, I agree
I mean,
100%. You know, and I started, and when we did this show a few days ago, Big Ken, you know, I kind of led off with that. You know, you know, and I'm trying to be biased. At the end of the day, Carmelo Anthony took another young man's life. Do I think that he should have walked away free? No. You know, he took a man's life. You know, and at the end of the day, you have to pay for your consequences. But I don't think it deserved 35 years. You know, anywhere from nine to maybe 15 years would suffice for what he did. You know, because at the end of the day, man, you know, I think why a lot of black people are upset in the world because you know, over the last really 3-4 years, we've saw a lot of black men, you know, been shot in the back, and we can just bring up a case with the Rick Child who just recently just beat a case for shooting a young black man and a 14-year-old boy in the back, you know, for not doing anything from running away, you know, and he was found out guilty, you know, and
it. Can I say
we've
this?
done multiple shows, Joe, and you've been on the show where we've done multiple shows where young black men were shot in the back by police officers and the
Mhm.
justified shootings were the killings were justified. You know, so that's why I think a lot of people are in an uproar. They're not satisfied with this jury. You know, they're not satisfied with the time that they gave this young man. You know, at the end of the day, you know, they're just trying to, you know, stay behind this young man and just want to see, you know, a positive outcome from him because we've been getting so many, you know, letdowns in this court system, you know, so we have to do a better job as people at getting on these juries, you know, making sure that we even this fight, you know, because at the end of the day, man, it's a fight. You know, white people are going to make sure that they're on these juries to do their job, I mean, and to uphold their duties, you know, to this system. You know, so we have to do the same thing. But look, man, I don't have anything else to add. If you guys have something else to add to the
I
story, and
just,
then we have another
I do too.
conversation, you know, too.
I, I just want to be able to finish. I mean, everybody got a chance to say what they're gonna say. You know,
Go ahead, say what you need to say, Joe. We've been letting you talk too.
I mean, they've been talking more than me.
Go ahead. Well, say what you need to
But
say.
but I'm gonna say this. First of all, look, I get it. You know, this is emotional, and a lot of people are just, stuck on the emotional part of it. I don't want to hear a damn thing about other races or what happened in the past. What happened with child situation is not the same what happened here. Okay, it's not the same. You know why it wasn't the same? Because there wasn't it was two kids like normal teenagers do, beef, talk crap, pull each other cards. Okay, this is normal. This is stuff that we have seen growing up. We was part of that one time in our lives. We pushed each other, be talking shit, and that's what we did. Okay, we did not think about pulling knives and doing this. It's the generation today that's doing this crap. But let me just say this about
But it was
to
black on black,
discredit
Joe.
what
What
you're
you
saying
speaking
about
about?
Rich Child in this situation. You know how you can avoid situation like this? If we learn, for one, with the Rick Child stuff in North Carolina, South Carolina, all you had to do was just do the right thing. If we would never made an attempt to steal, and believe me, I'm against with the Chinese guy. I'm really against that. So the conviction, I really wanted him to go to prison or do some time for that. I want to know I ain't supporting that. But at the end of the day, we keep putting ourselves in these positions, and then you wonder, then you mad about the outcome. We're gonna continue having these problems. Make good decisions. Now, somebody said better job as parents. We can't continue blaming the parents for this shit. My kids are doing my youngest son doing crazy stuff, and I know I've been a damn good father. So
Yeah,
it's just the
it
parents.
starts at home first, Joe, and I think that's what Chucky W5N meant. With better parents, it started at home. With teaching your kids exactly what you were saying. Trying to do the right
But
things, trying not
how
to
can
put themselves in situations to be able to be judged, like
I
how
agree?
this young man was.
But we got parents that teaching their kid is if somebody put their hands on you, do whatever you need to do to get them off of you. That's stupid. See, I don't teach my kids that dumbass shit.
Well,
Why?
I'm
Well,
gonna
hold
beg to
on, hold on.
differ, Joe, because if you
Damon,
not
let me
listen,
finish.
it could have been the other way around. What if Carmelo would have died?
Let me finish. I don't teach my sons
So
that
you
stupid shit.
can't, in my opinion, you can't
Damon,
say that. You have to teach your kids to do whatever you need to do to get a motherfucker up off of you.
no, I don't
And at
teach
the
my
end of the
kids
day,
that shit.
this may be a lesson, for this may be a lesson. Do not put your hands on, Carmelo may have done the time for most people who probably wouldn't have not done this. Do not put your hands on a motherfucker if you're not prepared to deal with the consequences of that. So yes,
Oh,
yes, he may have set a precedent. Sometimes
no,
presidents need
let
to
me
be
ask you a
set, and I
question.
think that's what
Let me,
Carmelo
let,
did.
let me ask you a question. Do
Go ahead.
you really think what just happened is really setting the precedent? That's what you're saying? You really
I
think
think it's
that?
gonna. I think it's gonna teach a
Let me,
lesson to the next white motherfucker who think they can just put their hands on a black man or a young man.
okay.
Yes, I
You
think
know,
it's going
you
to be a
know what you
president
really,
that's set.
you know, you know
Yes,
what
I
you
think
really.
that.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you think that because I can promise you, what you thinking not going to change white America.
It
What
may not
really?
We're
change,
not
but
trying to
it'll
change
change
it
them
much.
motherfuckers for trying to put their hands on a
No,
motherfucker.
it
I
wasn't.
guarantee you that
No, it's not. Let me tell you what it really
they
would
gonna think
change.
twice.
No, it's not. Let me explain to you what you really doing. What you
Okay,
really
go ahead.
doing
I would
is
love to hear it. And
let me
I'm gonna ask
finish.
everybody else's opinion on this.
That's cool.
Go ahead.
So what you really saying is that what you're doing is making more white people have a distaste for our justice.
Who
So
gives a
when you
fuck?
say
Who
when you
gives a
say
fuck about
it's
them,
to
Joe?
offense,
Who
I
give a
know
I
fuck
mean,
I
they
about them?
already have a
Damon,
distaste for
You
us
do,
anyway. So
Joe.
let
You give
DJ
a fuck
Jolly
about
said,
them,
who
Joe.
really gives a fuck?
You give
Damon,
a
let me
fuck
finish,
about them, Joe.
please.
You
You're not
got to
letting me
be the
finish,
only
man.
motherfucker to give a fuck
What you really
Okay,
at
saying
this
go
at
ahead,
this
go
point.
ahead, and then you can come in next, Big King. Go ahead, Joe.
Listen, let me finish. What you really saying, because
Go ahead.
this is not how American operates. You don't bring violence to violence. That never changed nothing. It never changed anything
Well,
over the history of it. Let me finish.
and
It's
I not to be cutting you off, Joe, but our predecessors, well, not even our predecessors, but our counterparts. Listen, this is how they've been behaving this way since the beginning of time.
Right. They've been knocking us
now you
upside our
think all of
motherfucking
a
head and
sudden
hanging
violence is going to
that.
change some things.
But
It
Joe
hasn't worked
don't want to
over
hear
the
about that
years.
shit.
But
So
Yeah,
today,
we're not gonna
now I'll
talk to
say
Joe
this,
about that part.
this is probably for another subject, but really that's the only thing that they really do respect. They've been
no, they don't.
they've taken
No,
over
they
this
don't.
country
No, they
using these
don't.
same
That
tactics that
no,
you said that we should
no, it
not use.
doesn't. No, it
But go
doesn't.
ahead.
What really gives the change in this country has never been violence. What really gets the change in this country is when we all united and walking the same.
Well, how do
That's
you
what
listen? How do you think?
I wish
Listen,
you
how
would
do you
tell
think?
your
Listen,
president, Donald J.
how do you
Trump, that
think who's running this
violence is
country took over this country, Joe? By violence.
No, listen.
Donald
When
J.
black
Trump is
people
being violent right
got
now.
free,
America is built
it
on
took
violence.
white, it took black.
Exactly.
Let me
So I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, Joe. Like, I
David, you're
agree
not
with
even
you on a
hold
lot of
on.
things that you were
You don't
saying about,
you haven't let me finish the
that
statement
we need
yet.
to
You
have
haven't let me
more,
finish.
that we need to have better judgment and things that we're putting ourselves into, like far as just conflict resolution, But far as listen, that's the only thing these motherfuckers respect is money and violence. They took over this country
That's
on
it.
violence, on
That's
just
it, Joe.
that's
That's
exactly
all they
how
respect,
they're on
Joe.
top now
What
is because of
that
the violence that they've done to not just blacks, but to the Indians who actually this was their country. But go ahead.
so you keep saying go ahead, you'll cut me off in
No,
a
go ahead.
minute.
I'm gonna let you talk. I just wanted to say
But
that. Go ahead.
you haven't let me talk yet. So
What
what
we let you
really
talk, man?
changes,
You just had it.
what
You just
really
had
Actually,
it
Joe,
with
I've
changed?
been
Trump.
letting
Joe
you
been
talk more
talking
than
all
anybody,
night,
but go
man.
ahead.
Damn,
Man,
you
you just
cut
had
me
it.
off every 2 seconds, man. You
No,
can
go
have
ahead.
Get
it.
I said
out of
because
here,
you said
Joe.
I wasn't letting you talk. I actually been letting you talk more than anybody. But go ahead.
Yes.
Ask the chat. The chat has been saying it.
The
But
chat will
listen,
tell you because the chat has made comments about you speaking. That's why they
all
said
right,
that because you were talking. But go ahead.
but, all right, listen. I'm gonna make this
Exactly.
quick because I ain't gonna be able to finish my point. The point I'm trying to make is, all right, this is the point I'm trying to make. Violence is not gonna fix America. You can't fix violence with violence. That's never worked in no history, okay? What happened with Carmelo Anthony is what is the reputation of black people. We are uncontrollable. We're not free thinkers. We're emotional reactors and we don't think. And that's the reason what we are teaching. What DJ Shani said is that if you put your motherfucking hands on me, I'm gonna motherfucking put my hands on you and I will probably stab you too. And guess what happened? It will be more people in prison. And what you would do is desensitize white people. If you think white people running the country and run these judges and running the court system, if we continue with this path, as y'all keep saying, it will make more and more people be desensitized of what we are and for our own rights. We can't move like that. It's not enough for us to even move like that. Okay? We got to use our fucking head. What I teaches my sons is make good decisions. I teaches my son these three things. If you don't put yourself in that situation, you won't find yourself in that situation. See, I don't believe in you push me, I stab you, nigga. I don't believe in that. What I believe is that if I don't put myself in a situation where you have to do something, it won't be. So was he out in the tent? That's not the problem, okay? But he enticed him and said, if you want me to move, do something. Invite that to him. Now, what the white boy should have done, Metcalf, he should have walked away. He should have went to his coach. Anthony had a point to prove because he felt like he was in another man's zone. He had the point to prove.
You
That's
didn't know
not how
that.
it works.
You assuming.
We need to teach our kids how to defuse situations, not entice it.
Well,
And
can
our
I speak?
parenting,
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
people online that actually saying stab a nigga, stab him. I would have did the exact same thing. That's not how you fix stuff.
Okay, so listen. Let me say this, Joe. I've listened to you, and and for the most part, it's your opinion, and you can it's yours to have. What I want to say to you is, I don't give a fuck how white people feel about me. I don't care. I don't, because they're never going to see you as equal any fucking way. So you can kiss their ass, you can teach your kids to move just like them, and it's not going to change how they see you. So who gives a fuck? To me, when I learned in gun class, is if somebody is advancing you in an aggressive manner.
You
And
sound
I
a
say,
little
stop.
muffled, DJ Shiny D.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. It's a little muffled.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. All right. And I say,
It's a lot
stop
better.
or I'll shoot. And I say, stop or I'll shoot again. And you keep
I can hear
advancing.
you.
I
I
have
can
a
hear you good
right
now.
to shoot you. I have a right to shoot you if you're advancing me and I ask you to stop. So I'm just saying, it don't. The violence don't always have to match. Sometimes you put your hand on the wrong person, you see what it is in a different way that you don't expect. Teach your kids to keep their fucking hands to themselves. White people are not the security of the streets. Stay your ass in your own fucking lane. Leave black people the fuck alone. Do you get that part? So stop telling me what white people
Okay,
gonna
Big Ken, and I'm
do. I don't give a fuck what they see. They
right.
already
Well,
see us as monkeys. They already see us as chimps. Who cares? You sound like you trying to run for office or some shit. So run for office. Do
and
your
listen,
thing.
and look, and this is the last question I'm gonna ask you guys. Give us a solution, Big Ken. Give us your thoughts. Give us a solution to this whole ordeal. You know, how if another case was to, if another young man or young woman was in a situation like this, give them your thoughts and your opinion on how to handle a situation like that. Because we have conflict resolution. And look, this was a great show. I love everybody comments, everybody opinion. Everybody made a lot of great points. DJ Shiny D did, you Big Ken, and you also too, Joe. But let's come up with a
Hmm.
solution. If we have any young men or women that may be facing this same situation in the near future, and I'll start with you, Big Ken. Give them a way out of this situation without this situation have to end with someone losing their life.
I mean, point blank, he did not have to come with a knife, but he did. We if we talking about if, but he did
Hmm.
come with a knife. So a murder, I wouldn't even call it a murder. The guy was not trying to murder him. You got to define murder. Somebody was killed, you know, and it was unfortunate that it happened. I just want to say that for Carmelo Anthony's family, that they got a big fight ahead of them, and it's going to be long. And I definitely think that they can get some type of better outcome with another jury. Maybe it might not have to be in Texas, somewhere else, but that's my opinion on that. But for this won't happen again. Like you said, kids got to keep their hands to themselves because in a fight, I don't think nothing, Joe, is fair in a fight. We are at war right now, and our president, I don't think he care about the people that we bombing. He don't say it point blank that he don't care about the citizens. He care about the war that we in. So war right now is what our people know. Young kids is walking around with switches, Joe. A knife is real easy to have. They walking around with switches, Joe. So that the fight was unfortunate that somebody got killed, but 35
Hmm.
years, no, that was not fair at all. Because we already know, Joe, and when you go to sleep tonight, you know that you're gonna think about this. Had it been a white boy in the same situation, he would have not got any time, Joe. They would have figured out a way to get him off. Period, point blank. So if I feel the way that I feel
I
just because he's black, that's the way I feel,
I
bro.
agree with.
They feel the
I,
way that they feel because they people is white. So if you don't have no compassion for
I
your
agree with
people
Big
because of
Ken.
what he did, because if it was your son and he stabbed him and they gave him 35 years, Joe, do you think that you would be saying the same shit that you said? I don't think
Well,
so,
look,
Joe.
okay, and look, and I want to I want to say what's up to everybody over there on Facebook. We have a lot of comments that's been coming in on Facebook. I can see them on my phone, but I can't see them on over here on this stage because we're actually on YouTube and we're live on Facebook too. But I can't see the comments. But I want to thank everybody who's made their comments on Facebook. DJ Shiny D, I'm going to ask you that same question. Give us a solution to this situation for any young man or young woman that may be in this situation. Give us your thoughts and your opinion on how it should be handled.
The thing about it is I don't think that there is just one answer for that,
It's
because
not.
everybody is different. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody is triggered by different things. I can't sit here and speak to what triggered Carmelo from pulling the knife out. I can't, because I'm not in his shoes. The one thing I can say about Metcalf is he didn't have to start it. He could have just left it alone or told an adult to ask the child to move. So I just think that the one thing we need to do is try to teach our children at a younger age so that they can grow up with it. Is sometimes you'll get something you're not looking for when you put your hands on people. So be ready for whatever when you put your hands on people, or when you pull a gun out on people. Then they tell you don't pull a gun out if you ain't don't mean to
You ain't
use
gonna
it.
use it, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
so don't touch people unless you want a real fight. And sometimes you don't get you can show up with a rock and the motherfucker have a knife. It's still a fight.
Hello.
It's still a fight.
Hello. That
Right.
part.
Hey, I can't disagree. Well, Joe, I'm gonna ask you that same question. For any young man or woman that may find themselves in this situation that Carmelo Anthony found himself in, give them a way out, give them a solution. Because that's what most of our young men and women lack is conflict resolution. So give them a way out, give them your thoughts and opinion on how you or should handle a situation like this.
It, how we handle the only advice I would give someone to handle a situation like this is put your pride to the side. So what? So hold on, I gotta mute this because I can barely hear. But the only way you're gonna, what I would say, what I would teach or say, is that you have to find conflict resolution. It's the pride that put people in these situations, and that's what put Carmelo in that situation. It was his pride, and it was the pride with my Metcalf, but it was pride with Anthony because he felt like he had to prove a point. And it's pride. We got to learn to control our pride and control our emotions. How you avoid situations like this is very simple. If you don't let your
Take an
pride
ass
get to bed.
whooping.
So anyway,
Just
what you
take
do,
an ass whooping
just
is what.
avoid it. Walk
Take an ass
away. Walk
whooping.
away. Say your piece and walk and say, put your head up. All right, you got it, and walk away. That's it. That's it. It's really that simple. It's nothing that we didn't do when we was kids.
But I
We talk that junk, and when
yeah.
it get too far, we back off.
but
Why
I
take
but
it
I
to
had
the
a knife.
to the third degree?
But I
That's
had a
not
knife.
how you resolve situations. You don't take it there.
Well, walking
Come
to
on,
school, I
man.
had a knife.
Metcalf did not do anything to that boy that made him feel like that his life was
You
in danger.
can't say that.
He
You
only
are not
You
did
here.
what
cannot
he
say
did
that.
You don't
because he
know.
wanted to
You
prove a
can't
Let
say
him
point.
that.
finish his words,
You,
y'all.
you don't know. You
He
don't know.
wanted
You
to
are not that
prove
boy.
a
There are
point.
some kids who
That's
will
it.
fight, and there are some
And
kids
now
who
he's
are
in prison.
scared.
And then we got people that's telling these kids, because this is, damn, you going to blow up, man. This stuff might blow up on the internet. It's going to go everywhere, right? I told you it's going to happen one day. And you gonna have kids that's watching this. And they're going to see grown-ass people telling them, if somebody push you, you can do whatever the hell you want because they should never put their hands on you. That is ignorant.
Now, do you think I'm the
That's not
only
what they
adult that's
saying,
telling
Joe.
them that? Do you
That's
think
not
I'm the
what they
only
saying,
adult
Joe.
that is
We
telling
should
them
not
that?
be teaching our goddamn kids this.
Do you think I'm the
We
only
don't,
person that's telling
based
them that?
on your logic, you just said that we don't have the justice system behind us. You just said that the judges,
No.
the prosecutors, and the jury are all white. So why are you putting your life and your faith in those hands based on your logic of the justice system? So
Well, I'm
when
gonna let
we
DJ
do it,
Shiny D rebuttal that. Go ahead, DJ Shiny
Well,
D. Come back
well,
in.
whether you know it or not, Joe, your life is already at risk. Whenever you come in contact, it doesn't matter what you do or don't do. I'm not gonna take an ass whooping if I ain't got to. If I ain't got to take an ass whooping, why would I? This is why I arm myself. This is why I teach myself how to use my weapons so that I'm not just stabbing nobody. I gave you warning. I gave you a warning. What the fuck else do you need? Stay the fuck away from me. And I shouldn't have to tell you twice.
Hey, these comments are crazy, you guys. But look, it's definitely been a great show. And this is listen, this is why I wanted everyone who's on this panel up here, because it's been a great conversation, a great show. And I want to thank everybody in the comment section. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Your boy is knocking on 1,000K subscribers. So make sure that everybody that's in here go on over to YouTube and make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Big Ken, you got anything else you want to add?
No, hey, it's been a lot being said tonight. I just want to say everybody keep their hopes up and prayers up for Carmelo because we don't want to see him do 35 years.
No,
I got
for sure.
nephews,
And look, man, it's
so.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 hours. We've been up here. We can keep it going. It's a lot of people in the comments. I don't know if you guys been reading the comments, but there's been a lot of comments coming through. A lot of people been having a lot to say. A lot of people a lot of people's liking what Joe is saying. But look, this is what this is about, man. This is what we do over here on the What Up Though show. We try to have conversation and topics, and then at the end of the show, man, we try to have a solution for everything that we're talking about. But like I said, man, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming on the show. Everyone's opinion was definitely needed. And everyone's opinion was heard. That's what it's about. It's about trying to educate each other and just trying to get a different opinion and a different outlook on everybody's thoughts about what happened. But at the end of the day, man, it was a sad situation. A young man is getting ready to go to prison for some years, and the young man lost his life. At the end of the day, conflict resolution should have been used in this situation. And I understand exactly what Joe meant. We have a lot of young men that's locked up over situations exactly like what Carmelo Anthony is locked up for. I'm not saying that this young man did not deserve to protect himself because he did what he had to do, but at the end of the day, if conflict resolution would have been used on both sides, we wouldn't even be talking about this. This show would be none of void. We would have a topic to talk about far as with this. So at the end of the day, parents, we have to continue, talking to our children, trying to get them to use conflict resolution, because at the end of the day, we can't continue to have our young men and women excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Our young men and women locked up for not using their brains in conflict resolution. So look, I want to thank everybody who came on the show. And I definitely need for you guys to hit that subscribe button because your boy is knocking on the door. So look, don't forget to share and hit that button. It's been another one. It's your boy Damn D, and I am out. Peace. And sorry about that, y'all. I lost my voice at the end, but it definitely was a good show. I appreciate everybody for coming up here. Joe, a lot of people had a lot to say in the comments. A lot of people had to say a lot to you about you too, DJ Shiny D, and you Big Hen too, man. The comments were definitely well needed. The comments were read. I didn't get a chance to read everybody's comments, but all comments were welcome. And it's just an enlightenment on this situation. This was a racial situation, and it's always going to be, when you have a black and a white man, in a situation like that. So it brings out a lot of what's the word that I'm looking for? Emotions out of people. When you have two different races against each other. So at the end of the day, man, hopefully a lesson was learned in this situation. And I don't have anything else to add. It's another one. It's your boy Dan D, and we are out.
Peace.
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 Thank you, guys.